Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm really glad you're here today. My name is Lucia Leos, and I'm the Client Services Manager. This session is meant to give you a very realistic picture of what Client Services Department support looks like throughout your journey with VDV. It is not just after you arrive in the U.S., but is mostly across the three key phases: pre-arrival, after arrival or pre-hire, and the post-hire, once hired your sponsor. Regularly, your case reaches out to our department either once we learn that your EAD has been approved for AOS cases, adjustment of status, or once you have received your visa approval for consular processing clients. In most cases, this means before you arrive in the US, but it can also happen as you get here. We try to establish contact as soon as we are aware of your approval to start our process of preparation, communication, and guidance to support you in this big transition. Many clients arrive excited and ready to start, but they also feel very overwhelmed. This is absolutely common and normal. Everything feels new: transportation, language, and just the day-to-day life in the US. It takes time to adjust, which is why you're not expecting to have everything figured out right away. You are starting a new life in a new country, and that is why we share clear and practical information with you. I will now go ahead and explain the three key phases of our process and the support that we provide in each phase to help your transition easier and smoother. First, we go with the pre-arrival phase. This applies to consular processing cases before getting to the US. We want to prepare you for what's coming next in your big move. First of all, we highly encourage our clients to get familiarized and improve their English level. Why? It is very important to learn English because principally it's the main language of the country that you're moving in. Your sponsor also expects you to understand basic instructions. This is not just for your success, but also for your safety. Your orientation materials as well as work documents will be in English. Therefore, we want you to understand everything clearly. We have several recommended online resources, YouTube videos, which you can use to learn English. But actually, our team launched last year a basic English course resource, which is available in your BDV profile in the Learning Center. So we highly encourage you to start practicing and start learning at your own pace before coming to the US. Another big thing to share, even before your visa approval, is the financial preparation. Moving to the US requires careful planning with money. Having savings is very important because some landlords or service providers check your credit history before renting or providing services, which in this case, since you just arrived to the country, you will not have to. If you do not have a US credit history yet, sometimes paying a few months in advance or a larger deposit can help you secure housing or resources. Be careful, of course, and always use trusted sources when paying for housing or services, and avoid anyone who asks for unusual payments. As for the AOS clients, adjustment of status clients, it's also very important to consider the move and relocation expenses, as well as the difference in the budget of the city that they'll be moving to. Sometimes they already have a job which is a higher pay than the one that they will be working for their sponsor. So having all these considerations into your new budget, it's very important. We have made research in the worksite locations of our sponsors, and we have also prepared city guides on each to provide you. They contain not only community information of the place, but also typical living costs, some suggestions on housing to make you have a realistic idea for the budget you have to prepare for yourself and your family. Remember, most of the jobs for this type of visa are usually a minimum wage. So planning your savings before arrival is very important. Another big thing to prepare for is the driver's license. Although you might not be used to it, public transportation in the US is very limited. Distances are long, and yes, there are ride-sharing options like Uber or Lyft, but they can be very expensive. Therefore, we highly recommend to have your own vehicle. For most new arrivals, buying a used car is usually a better option than buying a new one. New cars are more expensive, of course, but they also require a loan if you don't have the full amount. So since you will not have a credit history at first, getting a loan can be difficult. A used car can help you avoid these and manage your expenses better. Aside from that, getting a driver's license in your home country first can make things easier when you apply for a US license. Some states even have a reciprocity agreement with some countries, so that will make things even easier for that process. Traveling, as far as traveling, once you're ready to come to the US or relocate to the worksite location, please let your specialist know of your arrival date as well as the temporary accommodations that you will be having so that we can plan accordingly and also share information with you. We can also provide discounted rates on temporary accommodation depending on where you're going to. Now let's go to the next phase, which is after arriving to the US, or what we call the pre-hire phase. For those adjustment of status, this is mostly the part where we start working with them. This phase begins when you arrive in the US or when you are relocating to your work site. Once you arrive, it is time to get things ready to start working for your sponsor. It is very, very important for me to share and for you to understand that you cannot reach out to your sponsor directly. Why? Because they are not aware of your approval, they are not aware of your arrival, and they are definitely not expecting you to start on day one. As I mentioned before, there are certain documents and processes that we have to have ready because they rely on us to have you ready and prepared for them to onboard you with them. So please refrain from trying to contact them directly upon arrival. Wait for BDV to do all that for you. There are important tasks that must be completed before starting to work. One of them is the Social Security number. The Social Security card should automatically arrive to your provided address upon entry. When you are coming, once you're with the consul, you will give an address. If you don't have a set address, you can provide BDV's address, so we receive your documents for you and we will ship them once you have a secure address. However, lately we have been experiencing delays. So if you don't receive your Social Security number in the first month after your arrival, we highly recommend you to set an appointment at the closest Social Security Administration office to request it again. Then we go to the bank account. Setting a bank account, it's very important because you have to have an open bank account for the employer to pay your salary. So this is another big thing that you have to complete before getting employed. The other one is housing. When looking for a place to stay, proximity to work is essential, as commuting times again can be long, and they're longer than in other countries, and the transportation is very limited, as I said. Our team will offer the guides, but will offer extra support on finding you a place to stay. However, it's important to clarify that the final decision of where you are going to live rests with you, and you will be accountable for covering all the entire cost of your accommodation. Transportation and driver's license, we also already mentioned it, but you need to have reliable transportation to get to work before we can place you to your sponsor. Once you have all these items complete, receive the SSN, having your bank account, having permanent housing address, and have reliable transportation secured, and some cases having daycare secured when applicable, you will be transferred from the specialist to our coordinator. Our coordinator coordinates the orientation and start date with the sponsor. It is very important that you disclose any information to your specialist before you're being transferred to your coordinator. Why? Sometimes clients want their spouses to be hired at the same time. This can also happen if you disclose it before, so we can tell the coordinator to talk to the sponsor to see if they can accommodate that. If you have anything, really anything, any health issue, any family issue, you have to disclose it first with your specialist so we know how to help you and provide all the resources you need for us, for you to succeed. Success depends on early engagement and open communication. We support you, but we need you to provide all the details and share all the information with us openly so that we can help you effectively and prevent problems and delays in the future. Then we go to our last phase, which is the after hire, which we normally call post-hire support. We continue our services even after you already started working with the sponsor. However, it is important to understand that we are not your employer. Therefore, any work-related issues must be disclosed primarily with them, and then you can also contact us if needed. It is very, very important to learn that we can't interfere with their policies, decisions, or business needs. And it is also important to clarify that you are expected to be treated just as any other employee. No special treatment will be provided to you just because of being a VDB client. A very important thing that I want to emphasize on is the importance on continue working for your sponsor. In AOS, adjustment of status cases, this means you need to work until your green card is approved. And in consular cases, you must comply with what you agreed to, which is normally at least 12 months of work for your sponsor after receiving your green card. This is only because in both cases, it would really impact your immigration case and bring undesired consequences if you do not do so. The first months in the US can feel very challenging, but you're not alone. The Client Services Department is here before arrival, during transition, and even after you begin working. With preparation, communication, and partnership, challenges become manageable and temporary. Although all our support is remote, we always try to provide the best, most recent, and accurate resources when you need them. So please, please, please don't hesitate to tell us what you need help with. We will be very happy to assist you. We recently added a new team member, and upon her orientation, she asked me, how long do we keep the relationship with the clients? How long do we provide the services for? And I laughed a little bit because there's really no set time. We support our clients for as long as they stay engaged with us, basically. Some clients reach out only at the beginning. Some others only once they start work. We never know of them. But others stay in touch for many, many years. And some of them even become BDV employees. This is actually my favorite part of my job because our team is very empathetic. Many of us have gone through the same experience as immigrants. Some of us are even former BDV clients, just like you. So believe me when I tell you, you are in good hands. When we give guidance, it's always in your best interest, as we have worked with so many clients, and it's very, very exciting and satisfying to see them build their life in the US and succeed. We're here for the long run. We're glad to be part of your journey. So this is it. This is how client services will support you all along the journey. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Hello from Albania, Edison. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Claudio. Thank you, Daniel. So I can share some questions from past clients. How much English do I really need before I arrive? So you need to be able to understand and follow instructions as well as safety precautions from your sponsor. Again, this is for your safety, but most of all for your success during your life in the US. How about kids at school? Um, so we will help you as well to find, depending on your work site, your specialist will help you as well to find the grades on the school of your that your children need. If you need daycare, we will also provide help looking for daycare for your kids. Another question, how much money should I bring with me? Former clients suggest around $10,000 per family member, but this can also differ from state to state. So please consult with your specialist when needed, because we have a very helpful calculator, budget calculator, which adjusts depending on the place that you will be living in, and it will really help you determine the budget that you will be needing to bring on. Another one is, do I really need a car? What if I don't drive yet? It is very recommended for you to have a car. Distances here in the US are very, very long. So you're expecting to travel to work at least 15 minutes. And public transportation is not available everywhere. Most of the time, it's several routes that are offered, but it's not all across the city. So it is very important, and it is highly encouraged you to get your own vehicle. Driver's license, of course, you need a driver's license to drive your car, but we highly also encourage you to get it before in your home country. Why? Because this will help and ease all the processes here in the Department of Motor Vehicles. It is easier for you to bring proof that you already have driven before in your home country, so that way they can provide another driver's license without all the complete processes of testing and all. Can I contact my sponsor directly if I have questions? No. You should only contact BDV and follow BDV's instructions at all times. BDV has already all the information that you need to know from your sponsor. If your sponsor has benefits to offer, if your sponsor has time off policy, everything we know of. So please, if you have questions, reach out first to us, and then after you start working with your employer, they become your employer, you can ask whatever you need to, but don't contact your employer before starting to work with them. Does the sponsor pay for transportation? Some sponsors have their own transportation, but also the routes are very limited, and not all of the sponsors offer transportation. So, no, the answer to this question is no. You have to secure your own transportation. Um, Okay, there's a question. I will come through consular processing. Can I come back after landing in US? The reason is I have to sell my property and wind up my business and other financial matters. It could take almost 18 months. Can I come back to my country to solve all these matters and apply for I-131 and re-entry permit? After that, I will join my employer permanently. So this is something that you will need to discuss with your attorney. We normally wouldn't recommend you to arrive and then leave right afterwards. We want you to commit to your contract with the sponsor and work with them. And then once you receive your green card and once you have completed your commitment with the sponsor of the 12 months, then you can go back to your country. I understand there's a lot of things that you have to go back to your country and figure out first, but this will be our first recommendation. And then afterwards, yes, you can go back and apply for the re-entry permit. But yes, please discuss this with your attorney, as we're not legal advisors and we cannot provide legal advice. Hi, Dewan. You need an unskilled job? Please apply for the EB3 process with our sales department. You will be a great fit for this. I don't know if we have any other questions. How long it takes for a lawyer to file I-140 after getting LC approved? About 30 to 45 days. What happens if the sponsor says he don't want to give me a job anymore after I paid everything? Does this happen? If you start working with your sponsor once your visa approval or your EAD approval is received, you should not have this problem. However, if we have many clients that they receive their EAD approval, but they decide not to start working for their sponsor. And then once it's needed, because they have a USCIS interview, they want to rejoin the sponsor or go to work, and the sponsor says no. Why? Because the sponsor did everything for you to come to this country or for you to start working for them legally, and you decided not to. So this can happen. We don't see it as often, but yeah, if you do not show your good intentions to work for your sponsor, this is a possibility. Are lawyer costs included in the price? The attorney's services for main applicants are included, but not the dependents. Um, how long does it take to start working after arrival? This will depend on you getting ready all those items that I mentioned. You have to receive your social security, which is a very important one, because without it, there's many processes that you cannot complete. So once you receive your social, then you can get your driver's license, get housing, and once you open your bank account, we can transfer you to our coordinator. However, there are sponsors that need some time to adjust their business needs. They're maybe not as in need of workers in several months, so you can wait a little bit longer, but it is expected that you start in about 60 days after your arrival. Will BDV assist with housing or finding a place to live? Yes, we will provide resources we provide the city guides with information, with some housing resources and options. But if none of them apply because they're apartment complexes and maybe they're all busy or something, your specialist will help you personally on researching in the area that you're interested in, and for sure we will support you with that. Adjustment of status. When to start working with the sponsor. For adjustment of status, Sora, is as soon as you receive your approval of the EAD, the employment authorization document. Once you receive the EAD approval, we will start working with you, and it is highly recommended to start working for the sponsor on the next 60 days as well. So you need to relocate if you don't live in the worksite location, and then start working for them. What are the first things I should do after relocation? The CS team will guide you through all of the steps. We have prepared several resources for you. We have a checklist that we will share with you as soon as we know that your visa is approved. So you can also start working with things on your own. But yeah, don't worry. We're here to support you through all the way. So I see a lot of questions regarding the pause in the visas and people from India as well. You can go back to Chris's live on YouTube from the last week. He explains way better than anyone could about this pause and how it will affect the cases. So yes, please refer to Chris's live session regarding this matter. Regarding all the rest of legal questions, please refer to your attorneys, as we are not lawyers, so I'm not able to give any legal advice. But again, we're happy to have you on board in this journey, and we'll be happy to hold hands with you throughout the phases of it. So yeah, just reach out to us if you have anything that you want to share with us. And thank you for joining again. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Bye.